We'll make up for that trial in Danganronpa. Oh, it's you, the girl attorney, prosecutor person. Speaking of Danganronpa, why do I look like Byakuya? A courtroom. I'm in a real courtroom. Actually entering the courtroom is taking a lot of wind out of my sails. What does the judge look like? I forget if we saw him. I've never been here as an attorney before. I've only ever acted as Miss Tamura's assistant. Hey, you. Age 18. Oh, God. Well, she's our Francesca. Let's put it that way. Arcane art. Evocation. Do I need to keep track of this? Area Steelwind. Sort of like what's-her-face Blackheart. Blackquill. Aura Blackquill. The woman at the prosecutor's bench is staring at me. Miss Tamura mentioned her before I went to see Celeste. What was her name again? I just said it. I think it was Area Steelwind. Yeah, that. There we go. Danganronpa intro. I can feel the coldness of her glare burrowing into me. Why is she staring me down? Is she trying to intimidate me? Because it's working! Oh, that's the judge. Okay, yeah, I don't remember seeing him. But it's literally like the judge perspective. He's got his chin up. He's looking through the ceiling. He doesn't see anything else. Yep, that's our judge. Court is now in session for the trial of Celeste McCoy. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. God, she is Miles. Oh, the defense is also ready, Your Honor. I am also that thing that she said. He doesn't necessarily sound very ready. Oh, am I going to get the quiz now? The judge is going to test me? Nope. Regardless, let's begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Steelwind, please list the charges. Oh, wow. She's got a little magic tablet that comes up. The defendant is Celeste McCoy, a mercenary for hire and a registered mage. Oh, yeah, her profession came up as mercenary. She's a mercenary and a mage. This was not the impression I got from her when we were playing chess. Wait, did she just say mercenary? Yeah, it was on her title card sheet. Didn't you read it? Yeah, I had to take up a job after my family's tavern was shut down. Oh, right. And she's literally standing with us like me, Maya. It's not exactly the first occupation you'd choose. She's charged with second-degree murder and negligent misuse of the arcane arts. What is the one spell she knows, by the way? I see. So there was magic involved. Yes. The crime occurred within the McCoy Tavern, a local inn that shut down years ago. The locals reported hearing a loud commotion coming from within the building. That was a cute little animation when her tablet went away. Hours later, a carriage driver that was nearby checked the disturbance. It was then that he found the victim, the defendant's sword still impaling his dead body. The Inquisition has provided an autopsy report and a record of the sword. So where does the magic come from? Oh, wait. Died after being stabbed from behind with a magical blade. Was it stabbed from behind? I thought he was stabbed from the front. Fatal wound shows heavy traces of transmutation magic. This seems like a framing. The alleged murder weapon, it's an ornately designed sword, but it has no magical properties. Exactly. Or was it just summoned in via transmutation or something? Also, how is the other guy going to factor in? Because we know that Rudolph fella testifies. What was the defendant's relationship with the victim? I see that they share the same last name. God, his eyes, could they be any more open? The defendant is the victim's daughter, but not by blood. Oh, not by blood. Okay, so who actually is her parents will be a big surprise later. She was adopted into the family when she was an infant. Her birth parents are currently unknown. I see. What an unfortunate turn of events. To begin, the prosecution would like to call Commander Orem White to the stand. Get up here, Gumshoe. Let's see. People are saying things. Never mind. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. Okay, if you're actually Miles Edgeworth, you're going to have a hard time getting this information out of him. Never mind, you're not Miles Edgeworth. Name's Orem White. I'm commander of the Arcane Inquisition. Or was Gumshoe the exception? I can't remember. I feel like this is Tyrion Bad. What was Bad's last name? Hang on a second. Tyrell, that was it. Tyrell Bad. That's who I'm pretending this guy is. He's Tyrell Bad. That's He's not Gumshoe, he's Tyrell. Orem, could you please testify about the details of the Inquisition's investigation? Yeah. Oh, here we go. Witness testimony. We be ace attorneying. This is your cross-examination music? Get out of here. We got a call late at night. Someone discovered a dead body inside the McCoy Tower. How do you exactly get a call? Does this kingdom have telephones, and how do they work? When we arrived at the scene, we found Flintheart McCoy dead on the floor. The defendant's sword was still inside of him. We have several witnesses who heard the victim and defendant in a loud argument before the body was discovered. Their argument must have turned ugly, because the defendant killed the victim using her magic sword. Okay, I feel like I should be able to refute this from just being a witness. Isn't that really incriminating? Yeah, that's what I was saying at the beginning. One of her possessions is the murder weapon. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. I open my mouth to respond, but nothing comes out. We really are Athena. I can't think of anything to say, and everything is blank. Mr. Cuthbert? Hey! What are you doing? This is the part where you say something, right? Oh, it listed her arcane art as transmutation, too. I don't know if it showed that up before, but it did now. I'm sorry, I don't... My anxiety is just getting worse, and my breathing is becoming more and more desperate. Am I hyperventilating? What a disappointment. I was hoping to fight against the infamous Ruby Tamora today, but it's clear you can't even hold a candle to her. Your Honor, it's clear that the defense has nothing to say against the prosecution's overwhelming evidence. There's no evidence yet. You said 4 lines. Yep, this case is pretty open and shut. No, wait! This isn't what was supposed to happen. I was supposed to win and be awesome. I'm sorry, Tyrion. I couldn't have quit Frey. Oh, we're having a flashback to stuff. You couldn't have quit Frey. How's that going to come up later? We're going to have to get revenge for our mentor later, for the one that got away. She was found guilty. What? But that means... Are they going to execute her? No, not again. No. Why does everyone keep killing my possible potential girlfriends? Tyrion! Celeste grabs my shoulders and shakes me out of my panic. You need to calm your shit! Her gaze is calm and focused despite the gravity of the situation, but she looks stern, not angry. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for this to... Stop! Just listen to me. You know what to do, right? Ugh. Just do the same way you play chess. What? I don't know. You were just so calm and focused when we were playing before. No matter how close I got to beating you, you always knew how to stay calm and win. So just channel that feeling and look at the pieces? That doesn't make any sense, and yet... I take a moment to focus and let everything else disappear from the world. Yep, self-hypnosis session real quick. Every statement that he made, every word that came out of his mouth, each of those is a possible weakness that I can attack. I am the Edgeworth. It's time for logic chess. Every bleak moment can be turned around. I just need to consider every angle. My apologies for the delay, Your Honor. The defense is beginning to begin cross-examining the witness. Very well. There we go. Thank God that worked. That was just thrown in there for no reason. Carefully examine every statement he made and find something that contradicts the evidence in my notes. Once I do that, present the contradicting evidence and prove that his testimony is false. In other words, play ace attorney. Okay, I'm cross-examining a witness. Carefully examine each statement they make and find the statement that contradicts a clue, a spell, or a profile in my notes. Once I identify the false statement, click the present button, present the contradicting evidence to move forward. So, clue, spell, or profile. Well, actually, I could just... No, never mind. Okay, present. And that's probably not going to do it. Autopsy. Well, first of all, magic runestone takes pictures of crime scenes and write notes. Probably going to be useful, or useless for this trial. Unless we get a day 2. Died after being stabbed from behind with a magical blade. I could have sworn the CG showed he was stabbed from the front, but whatever. Fatal wound shows heavy traces of transmutation magic. The alleged murder weapon, it's an ornately designed sword but has no magical properties. Lovely. No spells. Hi, it's me. I should have an arcane art. I can read people's minds and invade their privacy. Ruby, nothing. Flintheart, nothing. Celeste, transmutation. Occupation, bodyguard? Is she a bodyguard, a mercenary, or a mage? I can't tell. Knight, nothing. Evocation. I wonder how that's going to play in. I wonder if that's going to be some way that she can counter our countering. Alright, well, whatever. We got a call late at night. Someone discovered a dead body inside the McCoy Tavern. Hey, guess what we get to do like Ace Attorney? Press things. At what time exactly did you get this call? And who discovered the body? The call came in at 1:25 a.m. I'm still not sure how. As for the witness who discovered it, he wanted to remain incognito. Is that going to end up being Rudolph? He's going to be the driver? It's not unusual for a witness to stay anonymous. It's well within their right. But this would be a lot easier if I could question the witness directly. What happened when you arrived, Commander? When we arrived on the scene, we found Flintheart McCoy dead on the floor. The defendant's sword was still inside of him. Slam! How did you know that the sword was my client's? Her sword is made out of some kind of special alloy. I think it was forged out of the country or something. It'd be hard to mistake something like that. We also have several eyewitnesses who verified that the sword belonged to the defendant. She made no effort to hide it from the public. Quite the contrary, she was quite proud to show it off. But even if the sword belongs to my client, that doesn't mean that she was the one who stabbed him. Yes, well, we have several witnesses who heard the victim and defendant in a loud argument before the body was discovered. I like how his head jerked back and forth in the animation there to reset. How did they know it was my client and the victim that were arguing? You were there, weren't you? You had to have heard them too. Oh, you know that. Every witness we talked to knew it was them. Ah, yes, well, there's our sheepish grin, our you got me grin, our you got me pose. Phoenix's elbow is usually higher. Your Honor, it's clear that the defense is playing devil's advocate. She's already calling us out on our bullshit. Even he should have recognized their voices. Yeah, fine, whatever. Well, they've got me there. Their argument must have turned ugly because the defendant killed the victim using her magic well, whoa! Wait a minute, it's not a magic sword, though. It's an ornately designed sword, but it has no magical properties. Well, we'll hit that. We'll hit him with that in a second, but let's press for more. That's conjecture. Weren't there plenty of people around who could have committed the crime? That tavern's been closed for years. The defendant, the victim, and Ruby Tamora were the only ones there before the body was discovered. Plus, the murder weapon definitely belonged to her. Well, it's a given that Miss Tamora didn't do this. And it'll be hard to prove that someone else was at the crime scene. But I can't help but feel that there's something off about what he just said. Oh, there sure was. The game's spelling it out for me since this is the first one. Hey, I get a tablet too. I shouldn't have panicked so much before. His testimony is straightforward, but that will actually make this easier. Assuming this Miss McCoy is innocent, there has to be a flaw in his logic. I just need to compare every statement to each piece of evidence in my notes. Once I find a contradiction, present that piece of evidence to the contradicting statement. Yes, spell it out. Do I get a hotkey for this? No, I just bounce around. Okay. Well, we definitely Phoenix writing, and we know what the answer is. Magic sword? Kiss my ass. Objection! That's right. Commander White, you testified that the victim was killed using the defendant's magical sword. Am I correct? Yeah, well, it's pretty obvious when you look at the crime scene. He's just going to say, okay, it wasn't magical, fine, whatever. Oh, there's the gotcha music. I think I'll actually have to disagree with you on that. The defendant's sword couldn't have possibly been the murder weapon. What are you talking about, kid? The sword was inside his body. Of course that's what killed him. That may be the case, but take a look at the autopsy report, and don't you dare update it. It states that the fatal wound had heavy traces of magic. So how would a non-magical sword leave traces of magic on the body? Oh, there's your oh shit face. What? Aria does not care. She does not have an oh shit face. She is not oh shitting. To leave a trace like that, the wound would had to have been created with something magical. My client's sword may look fancy and expensive, but it's entirely mundane. That doesn't make a lick of sense. If the sword didn't kill him, then why was it in the body? Yes, I find that quite strange as well. God, you are the judge. Well, there's only one reasonable explanation, Your Honor. The wound was created magically, and someone shoved the sword into the wound after. What? Why would they do that? If you're gonna frame someone else for getting killed by that sword, why not just use the sword? It's a sword. The hell are you talking about? Yeah, what Psy'Min said. The defendant is a damn mage. She could have easily killed the victim using magic. That may be, Commander, but why would she kill the victim using magic and then stab him with her sword? She would just be incriminating herself. Oh wow, the heads of the audience turn. That budget. No, if anything, this series of events proves one thing. Someone used magic to kill the victim, and then they pushed my client's sword into the wound to frame her.
Objection!
Oh dear. Don't get ahead of yourself. What? Your Honor, the defense is trying to spin the facts in his favor. He claims that a third party committed the crime and used the sword to frame the defendant. But wouldn't the simpler explanation be this? Magic was being channeled through the sword at the time of death. That is what left the magical trace in the body. Again, why? Commander, please tell the defense how the murder was committed using magic. What? Yeah, I'm with Orium here. I'm pretty sure getting stabbed with a sword is enough to kill someone. No magic needed. Swords are pretty effective like that. We can't have too much logic here. That's illegal. I don't know. I'm going to give the game a chance. All right. I think I see where you're going with this. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm getting the hint. Yeah, but why, though? It's true that the sword itself isn't magical, but magic can still be channeled through it. That defendant over there, her spell compendium has a spell called Mage Blade. Is that her one spell? You must have used it on her sword before stabbing the victim. That spell is the reason why there's traces of transmutation magic on the wound. Well, let's see how that works. So her spell compendium contains a spell called Mage Blade. A spell compendium is a magical device that lists every spell a mage can cast. Luckily, Celeste's compendium only contains one spell. Well, that's a hell of a spell. That means she can only cast that one spell. That's great. I can only cast one spell. It's the spell I used to murder the person's spell. Oh, wait, crap. Celeste, do you have your spell compendium with you? No. I left it at the tavern after... Well, you know. If you can't look at the description for Mage Blade, you'll have to approach this another way. Oh, okay. The commander's testimony was a lot vaguer this time. If I can press his statements, I might be able to find new information I can use against him. Well, we know what we're doing. Literally what we did before. Pressing statements. Yeah, Psy'Min already did that. Thanks, game. It's true that the sword itself isn't magical, but magic can still be channeled through it. I still don't see the point. Why use Mage Blade on a blade? It's a blade. Are you saying that my client used a spell and channeled it through her sword? There are a vast number of spells that operate like that. Spells from the School of Transmutation are almost always channeled through an object. That defendant over there, her spell compendium has a spell called Mage Blade. How do you know that? Mage Blade? It's a transmutation spell that sharpens my sword. Ah, there we go. I usually use it when I need to cut through an enemy's plate armor. I didn't realize she led such a lethal lifestyle. Yeah, no kidding. Again, that wasn't necessary. He was wearing like an apron or something. But anyway, wouldn't it be excessive for the defendant to use a spell like that on the victim? Exactly. He wasn't wearing any kind of armor at the time of death. The victim and the defendant were in an intense argument. Perhaps she used the spell in a fit of rage. It was a crime of passion after all. Ah, that's your theory. It is a little far-fetched, but at least it's better than nothing. I need hard evidence if I want to disprove it. Well, we shall see if we can find hard evidence. She must have used it on her sword before stabbing the victim. But why would she go to the trouble of doing that? Her sword alone would have been enough to commit the murder. Mages are always looking for an excuse to throw their power around. Hey, kind of bigoted. There's no rhyme or reason to it. That's not what I want to hear from a detective. Isn't that just your own personal bias, Commander? We don't need to understand why the defendant did what she did. The fact of the matter is that magic was present at the crime. Do you have any evidence of the contrary? Well, shit. I don't yet. I must not have pressed the right statement. That spell is the reason why there were traces of transmutation magic on the wound. If she used a spell like that, wouldn't that have created traces of magic on the ground? How so? Well, let's say we follow the prosecution's theory. That would mean that the victim fell to the ground with the sword still inside him. At this point, Mage Blade would still be active, right? It would definitely leave a magical trace on the ground after making physical contact with it. We're already way ahead of you. Oh, there's a grin. Ah, you walked into Gumshoe's trap. We had our people scan the crime scene, and we found traces of transmutation magic right under the body, just like you said. Oh, well, crap. If you still don't believe me, I have a picture of the crime scene right here. Aha! You have activated our trap card. Oh? Why was this picture not brought to my attention? There was no need. This entire case is open and shut. I'm about to open and shut on your face. I've seen pictures of the dead before, but it feels different now that the bodies of someone that I knew. Oh, this is weird and different. Looks like there are traces of magic on the ground. Is that hexagon grid? Isn't that a different sword, though? There's the bottle. He was stabbed from the front. I was right. But this shape's a little weird. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and she noticed it too. Yeah, okay. So Arya is going to be fairly honest here. Is she going to be honest and speak up, or is she going to let it slide and hope I don't notice? What was that just now? Oh, we added a statement, and it's the one I'm going to have to slap you in the face with because... Where... Is it at the autopsy report? Died after being stabbed from behind with a magical blade. So yeah, let's press it first though. Right, this photo does show that he was stabbed from the front. But why do I feel like there's something wrong with this picture? Well, that's all I get, huh? This would be a lot easier if I knew the parameters of Mage Blade. Perhaps I can get him to add statements or evidence to his testimony. The only thing I can do now is press his statements. Yes, yes, yes. Well, I don't remember him. Yeah, you can see it right in this photo. So this statement couldn't have been added until I got the photo. So, died after being stabbed from behind with a magical blade, i.e., fuck you. Do not update this autopsy report or I will slap you with my dick. Objection! I'm sorry, Commander White, but it seems that you've presented another glaring contradiction. Oh yeah, and what's that? You said that my client stabbed the victim from the front. Am I correct? Yeah, you can see it played in that picture. So where's your contradiction? That's the thing, Commander. Your picture clearly shows that the victim was stabbed from the front, but the autopsy report says that he died from a stab from behind. I want to know how they got that autopsy report done here in the magical land of Wyvernguard. What? Objection! Here comes the updated autopsy report. Oren, you were supposed to release everything that you had. Well, she's pissed. Look forward to that job review next week there, Gumshoe. Why wasn't this photo given to me? There was no need. There's no way it could have been anyone other than that damn mage. Murmurs ring out across the gallery. Doesn't matter how corrupt the justice system was, they wouldn't be able to cover up such blatant incompetence. Oh, trust me, Gumshoe covers up his incompetence all the time. It's how that man still has a job, I cannot understand. I have them right where I want them. Oh, you feel that way, do you? Order in the court. Everyone shut up. Mr. Cuthbert, what is the meaning of this? I'll tell you what the meaning behind it is, Your Honor. As the autopsy report states, the victim died from a stab wound originating from his back. They are setting us up for the updated autopsy report so damn much here. But this photo clearly shows that the sword entered from his front. That can only mean one thing. The sword was inserted into the wound after the fatal wound had already been created. That's crazy! You honestly expect us to believe that? And please enlighten me, Commander White. How else would the sword be facing the opposite way? Do you think my client stabbed the victim with the hilt of her sword? Oh, burn! I didn't think so. What really happened is clear. You think he was fired once, but he was rehired, as not rehiring him was deemed bad for society. I mean, I guess he was sort of technically fired by Gant, but Miles Edgeworth was probably like, nah, screw that. If Gumshoe gets fired, who's going to polish my desk? The real murderer stuck the sword through the victim's wound to implicate my client. But they made a careless mistake and stuck the sword through the opposite side. That seems like a pretty big mistake. Also, Gumshoe isn't present in the Apollo Justice trilogy. I'm waiting for him to show up in some new job in some later game. They're going to come up with Ace Attorney 7 and Gumshoe is going to be running a ramen restaurant or something.
Objection!
It appears that I underestimated you, Mr. Cuthbert, but you still got ahead of yourself. How so? You think he was fired by Francesca, too? I can't remember if Francesca fired him. I'm not sure she has the authority. Did she? I don't think she fired him. She may have taken him off a case. Maybe, possibly. I can't remember. Really, Miss Steelwind? I believe that Miss Cuthbert is adequately cast out on your case. Oh, did he now? Then let me ask you one question, Mr. Cuthbert. If your client didn't kill Flintheart McCoy, then who did? She did fire him? Well, fair enough. I'm not saying she didn't, I just can't remember when she did. How should I know? If I'm not mistaken, it's the commander's job to figure that out. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, I'm well aware of the commander's incompetence. But one fact still stands. There was magic detected on the wound and the sword. Would you like for me to tell you how many mages live in that small town? I don't like where she's going with this. Just one. There's only one registered mage in that entire town. Yeah, well, registered or not, he still had a visitor. And that mage is your client. What? The defendant was also established to have been with the victim hours before his death. Edgeworth got him rehired after Maya was rescued. Fair enough. She was the last known person with him, and she was the only mage there. In addition to that, I have several witnesses who heard them arguing. We're going to have to call up that person who discovered the body at some point, and that's where it's going to come out there was another mage. How she murdered the victim is simply an unanswered question. I see. That certainly does change matters. I can't say that the prosecution's evidence is irrefutable, but there is still evidence that casts guilt upon the defendant. Damn it, I almost had them. There are far too many unanswered questions for me to pass a verdict. Oh, we get to actually investigate now? We will give law enforcement time to clear these unknowns. I suggest that they conduct their investigation more thoroughly this time. Really, Edgeworth should have no say in Gumshoe's salary either, but here we are. Well, clearly the prosecutors get some say, because they keep doing it. We will resume the trial tomorrow morning. That's right, Orium White, I called you out. Get your shit together. Court is adjourned. I love how the judge gets this big wind-up animation before he brings the gavel down. He enjoys that. Hello, Cuthbert. As I walk out of the courtroom with Celeste, I'm greeted by Miss Tamora. Hey, Miss Tamora, you're here? I recall how I froze up during the first cross-examination. I feel a little ashamed that my mentor saw all that. Well, at the end of the day, you were able to pull it together. And once you did that, you performed adequately. On that note, I wanted to give you this. Oh, there's the compendium. Celeste's spell compendium has been added to my notes. Mage Blade! Okay, let's check this out. Incantation. Arcane! Sure, why not? No gestures needed. Concentration, sure. Does that mean it couldn't have been a crime of passion because you need to be able to concentrate? It's kind of like instant transmission. Duration, 1 minute. For the duration of the spell, the edges of the object, usually a blade, become unnaturally sharp, making it more efficient at slashing. While under the effects of the spell, the object emits a yellow radiant glow. That seems like it's going to be important. The target object must be no larger than a 5-foot cube. Well, that probably will not be relevant for this case. My spell compendium? I swiped it from the dining area before the Inquisition arrived. I thought it'd be best for you to have it. So, this is your spell compendium, and it only has one spell. Mage Blade. That means that the prosecution has to prove that Celeste used that specific spell. It's very suspicious that you're a mage and you only know one spell, but it's a spell that improves your murdering power. It will restrict how they approach this case, which gives you an edge over them. But that prosecutor is really something else. You mean Prosecutor Steelwind? I can still remember her ripping glare. It gives me chills just thinking about it. You wouldn't even know it, but this was also her first trial. Oh, go! Well, I guess if she's 19, or 18, I should say, that would make sense. She is our Francesca. She just has a cane instead of a riding crop. No, she's got a full-on whip, that's right. She has a riding crop when she's like 14. I thought that her inexperience would make for a good first opponent. But that girl, she's a natural in the courtroom. It makes me wonder why a Steelwind would choose to become an attorney in the first place. What do you mean? The Steelwinds are a powerful noble house. Of the noble families, they're one of the few who directly answer to the king. Most members of their house take high-ranking positions in the kingdom's military. So, it's a bit strange that she chose to become a prosecutor despite that. Steelwind. Poor Phoenix, haha. Yeah, he gets whipped a few times. Have you actually played all the way through Trials and Tribulations yet, Ice? Steelwind. I feel like I've heard it somewhere before. In any case, it's best that you focus on the trial. You have about a day until court resumes. Okay, we get to go investigate. Right, now that I have time, I want to ask you some questions, Celeste. Ooh, do I get options? Namely about that argument you had with your father. Oh, sad face. I see the bailiffs staring daggers at Celeste. It looks like they're waiting to take her back to her cell. Whatever questions I have will have to wait. I should probably go. You got distracted by Dual Destinies. Fair enough. If you don't know the rest of Trials and Tribulations, I think you're going to enjoy that quite a bit. I feel like it's got a much better story than Dual Destinies, but that's just me. Celeste walks away while avoiding eye contact with me. Bringing up her argument with Flintheart may have struck a nerve. I'll also use this opportunity to investigate the crime scene. That was not the girl voice. I should be using the other voice. I wouldn't be surprised if the Inquisition missed something. They always miss something. Mainly because you heard Black Will was really good. Well, fair enough. You utterly embarrassed them today. Don't expect them to make the same mistake twice. Right. There's still a lot of things we don't know about. Actually, that's right. Orium White's cheeky grin there actually sort of mirrored Gumshoe's cocky grin, too. As much as I hate to admit it, your skills of deduction far surpass mine. Really? If anyone can figure out what really happened that night, it's you. Sure, I'll save my progress. I was hoping to get through a case or two. It seemed like this would be a short game, but we're not even through, I feel like even halfway through the first trial here. Nice body outline there. Is that the position he was in? Because he looks like he's just doing a boogie. I arrived back at the McCoy Tavern. Lucky for me, the Inquisition set up a teleportation circle for you to use. Good. No more potholes. With that circle, I could magically teleport between the capital and the crime scene instantaneously. It's definitely miles better than having to travel by carriage. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, it's you. What are you doing here? What do you think I'm doing here, asshole? Commander White takes notice of me as I enter the tavern. It looks like he's working with a team of knights to investigate the crime scene. I'm the defense attorney in the case, moron. I have just as much right to investigate the crime scene as you do. Yeah, whatever. Just remember, I got my eye on you, kid. Hey, look at that. Ace attorneying things. Well, we know how this starts. Hey, buddy. What do you think about this? I don't know what you're expecting me to say. Not much to say about it. It'd be best to try something else. But my badge. Well, while we've got him here, let's just hit him with everything. The autopsy report seems to be pretty detailed in some aspects and vague in others. Why is that? I'm not sure about the details, but the autopsy was performed by a mage who studies divination. Oh, we are in spirit of justice. Their magic gives us details about how someone dies, but there's always a few blind spots. Blind spots like what? Well, for one thing, if someone mucks around with the body after death, the report becomes muddled. Divination magic can tell what happened to a body, but not in what order and at what time, so how convenient. Someone definitely stabbed Flintheart's body with Celeste's sword. If what he's saying is true, it'll be that much harder to figure out what kind of weapon originally killed him. Speaking of weapons, that mage's sword really is strange. It's almost a shame that we had to confiscate it. Is it really that abnormal? It's definitely not like any kind of sword I've seen. I wonder if it was forged in the Eastern Kingdoms. Fair enough. Crime scene picture. I want to get a better look at this without the text at the bottom of the screen. What's with the... That is a weird-ass hilt. I'm actually having a really hard time imagining where anything is down there. Is that just an abstract idea of what the sword looks like? It almost looks like the handle is on the side of it, like you hold it like a gun. You just stab like a mofo. What is this? This flower pattern down here. Also the broken bottle. I'm curious about that. Is that going to factor in? We can ask about it. What do you think about this? I don't know what you expect me to say. Alright, fine, whatever. How about this? Never seen a real spell compendium before. I'm still not exactly sure how they work. Well, spell compendiums are magical devices that display exactly which spells a mage can cast. That's convenient. You can probably guess, but the Inquisition uses these things all the time. Right, having that information is definitely a blessing for the defense and the prosecution. Alright, so talk. Questions. I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the case. Ha! As if I'd help the likes of you. Hey, come on, man! I saw who your boss is, and I know what you're up to. That witch probably sent you here to con me. We really should be reading people's thoughts more often, considering what we're doing. That witch probably sent you here to con me. What? I'm just looking for some information. A likely story. He was cooperative before when he let me see Celeste. Why is he being stubborn now? Is he angry that I embarrassed him in court today? In any case, I won't get anywhere at this rate. If I want his help, I'll need to persuade him through an argument. Oh, okay. How does this work? Is this my, psyche lock equivalent? It helps to prepare before starting an argument with someone. Talk to Orium or present items to him to build a psychological profile. If I successfully fill the profile gauge, I'll receive more information during any arguments against him. I have... Oh, hey. Okay, so not this yet. What was the game where I was confused by this? I'm trying to remember. I think it was actually Chicken Police, because I was trying to figure out how to kind of do the arguments, but I wasn't really sure. The feedback was not very logical. I'm hoping this works more like logic chess, that I go through the arguments, kind of like Miles Edgeworth logic chess. I'll go through the arguments, I'll get other information that I can use for the actual argument. So let's check this out. So what does the Arcane Inquisition do exactly? Try to pick a fight with me? No, I'm just genuinely curious. Well, I'm sure you already know, but us Inquisitors investigate crimes that involve magic. Do crimes like this happen often? Nah, maybe once in a blue moon. It makes sense. Most mages are in the nobility, after all. Even if they're untouchable, they don't make a habit of getting into trouble with the law. You must have an easy job, then. Huh, you got that right. Ah, there we go. The only reason we exist is to clean up the nobility's messes, so... He doesn't like being the nobility's lapdog. And that's hopefully going to build the psychological profile. He doesn't seem that happy about that. Hey, look at that. I hope this isn't completely straightforward. I hope there's some strategy to this. Commander White, you seem to speak negatively about my client's magic. Do you have a personal grudge against mages? You're damn right I do. Wow, I didn't even try to deny it. If you had any sense, you would too. All a mage has to do is wave their hands and say some magic nonsense, then you suddenly have a dead body on the ground. And don't get me started on mage blight. If some noble uses their magic too much, they end up snapping and going on a rampage. Ooh! Well, that's topical, considering whose ending we're on in Chaos Head Noah. I don't know if this is going too far, but why join the Inquisition if you hate mages so much? Considering the fact that my job is to sweep the nobility's crimes under the rug? Sorry, I didn't mean to insinuate. Nope, you have the right of it. Anytime a noble is involved in a case, I'm ordered to look the other way. You don't seem very happy to do that. Why would you stay in this line of work? Because every once in a while, I'm allowed to put a criminal mage behind bars. We can't go after the nobles, but any other mage is fair game. Or at least they were before your boss showed up. Really? What the hell does our boss have to do with anything of it? Your boss? Does he have something against Miss Tamora? Zwimp! Oh, okay. This will probably help finish the psychological profile. I have to ask, did something happen between you and Miss Tamora? Ha! Miss Tamora. What are you, her lackey or something? Pretty much, yeah. No, actually, she's my guardian. Oh, I didn't even know she had a... So maybe she's like our adopted mom. She got that mommy energy. Look, kid, I don't know what the deal is between you two, but no good will ever come from associating with her. This is about the rumors, isn't it? Tell me about rumors. Throughout the years, there have been several insidious rumors surrounding Miss Tamora. She's been accused of forgery, blackmail, and all manner of illegal activities. Oh, never mind, she's our Manfred von Karma. It's clearly misinformation spread by the nobility to discredit her. She's always been fine with it. You can't help but get angry on her behalf. It's more than just rumors. I've seen it for myself. That woman is evil, kid. She defends mages who don't have the protection of the nobility. She's not evil, she's a hero. Yeah, whatever. Orium White's psychological profile is complete. I'm basically Jay. Alright, let's, we don't want to move. We can examine later. I guess we're going to do this now and see what comes of it. Commander White seems unusually hostile toward me. And I have a feeling it's not just because I embarrassed him in court today. If I can clear up the misunderstanding, I might be able to convince him to help me. Start an argument with Orium White, yes! Well, that's blunt. Would you like to argue with this person? Sure. I feel like being confrontational. Alright, I'm just gonna come out and... Oh, psychological profile. Stubborn and stuck in his ways, he seems to have a grudge against Ruby Tamora and will react negatively if I try to defend her. Okay, alright, it's giving me hints. I'm just gonna come out and say it. You have a problem with me, Commander White. You should know exactly what my problem is with you. I saw who you work for. Do I have to spell it out for you? Ruby Tamora is a crooked lawyer. Or does your boss not tell you what she gets up to? Elocutions. Elocutions in arguments. Arguments are not always fought using hard evidence. Sometimes you need to elocute. I hope I'm saying that right. I think I am. To convince your opponent that their claim is wrong. When prompted for an elocution, choose from one of the three possible responses. The correct response can be gleaned from reading your opponent's psychological profile. Defend, deflect, or rationalize. Well, if I defend her, he's going to be unhappy, because it said not to do that. Unless it's meaning defend myself. These options are not... Oh, wait. Okay, it actually tells me. I have no right to throw baseless accusations against me or Miss Tamora. Screw that. Regardless of what Miss Tamora has done, I'm the one heading this case. Okay, that seems promising. It doesn't matter how you feel about me or Miss Tamora. What matters is that my client deserves a fair trial with fair representation. I could go for this one, but I have a feeling this is the one. Because this is also defending a mage, and he may hate that. So let's try this. Regardless of what Tamora has done, I'm the one heading this case. Whatever problems you have with her, they have nothing to do with me. Yeah, there we go. 30%. Meterless. That still doesn't change the fact that you work for her. I've seen that woman do all kinds of shady shit in the cases I've worked. I like this guy. He's the only one that swears. Maybe deflect? Rationalize? No. I think maybe both could have worked, honestly, but deflect worked for sure. I've seen that woman do all kinds of shady shit in the cases I've worked. Forgery, bribery, blackmail, you name it. Oh, you've seen this, have you? You're just another crook. I bet you're just the same. A successor for the devil of defense attorneys. All right, I'm not Ruby Tamura. Regardless of what you've seen her do, I'm going to run an honest case. Okay, so this is probably going to be correct. Me being her successor has nothing to do with it. Forgery, bribery, blackmail. Have you seen me do any of those things? Because all I've done so far is point out the mistakes you've made. Honestly, I could go either way with all of these. Stubborn and stuck in his ways. Okay, maybe don't attack him. Respect me if I defend myself against personal attacks. Okay, so let's just play it straight. This is probably the correct one. I'm not Ruby Tamura. It doesn't matter if the rumors are true or not. Regardless of what you've seen her do, I'm going to run an honest case. Yeah, there you go. Look, kid, I'd like nothing more than to believe you, but after everything I've seen her do, I know better. I have no reason to trust you. Okay, we can lower this. Anyone taught by that woman can't be anything more than a crook. I have no proof that she's a crook. That's a defense of her. Nothing that I've done has given you any reason to suspect me. True. Have you seen me engage in any crook-like behavior? I'm not sure I want to leave myself open to that. Nothing I've done has given you any reason to suspect me. I don't think anything I've done. I feel like the game is probably being easy here and giving me more than one option that would work. Okay, not defend, not in this case. This seems more accusatory, so let's go with deflect. Right now, I'm just a defense attorney that's asking you for information. Nothing that I've done has given you any reason to suspect me. There we go. Argument 1. Get screwed over. That's right. I just perfected you. How does that feel? You just want some info, right? Yep, that's all I'm asking for. All right, I'll answer your questions. Just don't make me regret this. I've successfully persuaded Orium White. Delightful. I wouldn't want to ask him questions I wouldn't want the answers to. Yeah, I don't want to leave him... moving on. I said what I said. This probably goes without saying, but I don't believe the sword is the murder weapon. Right, I guess you have to prove that someone else put the sword there. Did the Inquisition find anything suspicious on the scene? If you're asking if we found another bloody weapon lying around, we definitely didn't. That would be a little too convenient, wouldn't it? I think a weapon was manifested and then dismissed. Kind of like a D-sword, actually. Well, let's say that the girl really is being framed. If there was another murder weapon, the killer probably walked out with it. Do you think they could have hidden it somewhere in the tavern? Doubt it. After the trial, Steelwind turned the place upside down and scanned it with her magic. If someone did hide a murder weapon here, they hid it well. Or they hid it in plain sight. Oh, that's telling. What would that mean? Hid it in plain sight. Like where? Alright, Orium's mistake. I can't believe you made such an obvious mistake during your investigation. Hey, be nice, man. Oh, shut it with that. I already got an earful from Steelwind about this mess. Well, you don't have to worry about me mucking things up. Steelwind's basically taken over the entire investigation. Oh, is she here? Wait, does she have the authority to do that? Also doesn't have the authority to cut my pay, but let me tell you about that. Normally she wouldn't, but I know better than to go against orders from a noble. Yeah, didn't she start this yesterday? Right, there's definitely a strange power dynamic between them. But honestly, that girl sweats the details too much. She even had my men drop a scaled map of the crime scene. Wait, really? You have a copy? Sure, knock yourself out. Don't know how much good it'll do you. Well, if it's in my inventory, it'll be useful for something. Crime scene map has been added to my notes. I heard that this was Prosecutor Steelwind's first trial. She must be pretty talented if that's true. A pain in my ass is what she is. That damn noble comes in here telling me how to do my job. I honestly have no idea what she's even doing in this line of work. I heard that she's from a renowned noble house. Is there such a thing as a non-renowned noble house? She must be a pretty powerful mage. Ha! Powerful is an understatement. The steel winds who came before her can turn this entire town into a glass crater. What? There's no way that's true, right? Am I done? Alright. First of all, let's take a look at this. Oh, the body isn't even here, which is very weird. Huh. Five foot by 5 foot. Each of these blocks, these grids, is 5 by 5. I have a feeling this is going to become important because the Mage Blade spell specifically says that it can't enchant anything bigger than 5 by 5. So, so she didn't kill him with the bar. She didn't kill him with a table. By the way, if that is 5 by 5, these chairs are enormous. I just want to point that out. These chairs are literally like 3 feet by 3 feet wide. You can't even put your feet on the ground. They're just hanging out over the front. Like your feet are barely off the edge. But yeah, that's I'm not too sure what to glean from this. I'm curious how that's going to play into things. You got any comments on this? I can't believe the prosecutor is going into this much detail for her case. Maybe she plays a lot of old school games since she likes drawing out maps. It's a real headache. You know this map is scaled. It's got a legend and everything. Yeah, I noticed. These chairs are enormous, aren't they? Wow, the prosecutor must be pretty particular. Okay, let's examine things. Not the giant chairs. The Inquisition lit some candles. There's a magical lamp right there. I wonder why they're not using those instead. They just hate magic, I guess. Oh, that checks things off. There's a modern-looking lamp mounted on the wall. It's a lamp powered by artificery. Artificery? I didn't expect to find something this sophisticated in a town like this. Artificery is just another form of magic. Actually, artificery draws from surrounding ley lines too. I didn't ask for a science lesson, kid. Anyway, look where artificery got these folks. I really hope I'm saying that right. The arcane power cell broke. They haven't had any power for weeks. Yep, nothing can beat good old oil and flame. Oh, interesting. This guy's voice is killing my throat. Broken power cell has been added to my notes. Interesting. This painting, by the way. Oh, hey! The painting of a man in a suit. There's some text on it. Adam Evley, politician of the Pedantic. I've heard of this guy. He's some kind of politician from one of the nations west of here. Thank you for the redeem. You heard my comment about my throat, didn't you? Also, this guy is 64. Damn. I don't think any character in any of the Ace Attorney games is 64 years old. I don't think Von Karma was even that old. This is one ancient fart. Heard of this guy, blah, blah, blah. I heard he's pretty much a shoo-in to win whatever election they have going there. That election? Was Flintheart studying democracies for his little revolution? Or are we not in a democracy? Let's check out this painting. Whoa, what the hell? It's a painting of a mage? There's some text on it. Samala Daglian, a legendary practitioner of the arcade arts. He mysteriously disappeared one day when everything exploded. It's rumored that he was developing a formula for a new transmutation spell. Oh, you don't say. However, he was reckless in casting the spell, and Dalian quickly lost control of its magic. His body was never found. Many speculate he didn't actually die during the accident, but if it's true, where did he end up? He get isekai'd somewhere? Sounds like a cautionary tale against using magic. That might explain why Flintheart keeps it in his tavern. I wonder if he's going to come up later. What even is that the bottle? There's a broken bottle on the floor. It's shattered close to the chalk outline of the body. The label has the words Lotus Juice on it. Never heard of that brand before. Must be foreign. course it's a clue. Shattered bottle of lotus juice is added to my notes. There's a chalk outline of a person on the ground of the tavern. Yes, a particular person. And apparently he enjoyed dancing. This is probably where Flintheart died. You think? What clued you in? The blood? The outline matches the picture that the Inquisition took. Nothing seems out of place here. Do I get to take a picture? I want to use my gem to picture things. I guess that's all I got going on. I think I found everything I can here. Well, that's the game cluing me and telling me go somewhere else, idiot. What does it all mean? There's no murder weapon to be found. There's no obvious evidence of another person at the scene. Hey, you okay? You got quiet all of a sudden. Alright, just focus. Close your eyes and let everything else disappear from the world. Oh, we got a minigame? Hey, you listening? No, shut up. So, there's no clear evidence pointing to another killer. There is, however, evidence pointing to how Flintheart moved before his death. What? What can we tell about how Flintheart died? There's no blood trail leading to or from the body. What does this imply about the location of Flintheart's death? Well, he died where he fell? Oh! This is interesting. This is a new game. Flintheart didn't move after being stabbed. That work? It looks like I only have 3 options for each of these little dials. I wonder what I could make that looks funny. The killer framed Celeste before... No, the killer framed Celeste after the trial. No, I'm gonna go Flintheart didn't move after the murder. No, there was no blood trail where Flintheart's body is, right? Or do I mean during? Should I move that? The lack of a blood trail tells us something important. Namely, where Flintheart was throughout the murder. Oh, do I need to do this? Okay, fine. Picky, little bastard. I mean, murder is when he was stabbed. I didn't think he implied the entire length of the event, but whatever. Flintheart died where he was attacked. Yeah, no shit. He didn't move from his position at all. Yeah, I guess you're right. No kidding. There's also the autopsy report, which says that he died from a stab wound from behind. He was probably caught off guard and was too incapacitated to move anywhere else. This means that the attack happened at the exact position he fell over. Crime scene has been updated in my notes. There's also the shattered bottle of lotus juice. How did the bottle shatter? I doubt it means anything, but the shattered bottle is right next to the body. Flintheart dropped the bottle during the attack? This seems likely. This is a minigame, I must say. I've never seen a variant of this before. I was mocking the thoughts and the mood matrix and all the other stuff, but this is actually kind of novel. Flintheart dropped the bottle when he was attacked. From that, we can infer that he was holding it the moment before he was attacked. No kidding. What's so strange about one bottle, though? It may seem like an insignificant detail, but that detail could help me infer other elements of what happened during the murder. Right. Shouldn't you be better at this than me? This is literally your job. There's also the fact that the artificery lights were out. Were these candles here when you arrived at the crime scene-orium? No, we had to light some so we could see the crime scene properly. This was in the middle of the night. We thought it was weird, too. The girl and her father must have had their argument in pitch-black darkness. What can we infer about the state of the crime scene? So they didn't light any candles to make up for the broken lights. What if the lights were on and working before the murder? The basement, the crime scene, had no lighting. Okay, the basement and the witnesses and the customers in the town, that seems irrelevant. During? How do we know during? I don't know that. How do I know the light wasn't broken after? I seem to recall a blue glow during that bit. I mean, the crime scene had no lighting after the murder. Of course it had no lighting after the murder. It has no lighting now. Which, in case you weren't paying attention, is after the murder. Do they want me to say before the murder? No. The candles were lit by the Inquisition after they came to investigate. During? Well, if they had no light before the murder, they had no light during the murder, you picky bastard. The crime scene had no lighting during the murder. Oh, they specifically said they were broken for weeks. Okay, fair enough. Broken power cell has been updated. The argument Celeste had with Flintheart must have been spontaneous. They weren't planning to have a conversation in this room. In this darkness, Flintheart wouldn't have had a lot of visibility. If he was stabbed from behind, he probably didn't see it coming. He was clearly surprised and probably in too much shock to run away. Isn't that obvious? Everything? Also, the bottle may seem insignificant, but he was holding it when he was attacked. Maybe he was pouring a drink for himself. Or maybe it was for a visitor. Either way, the assailant must have been unseen by Flintheart. Kid? Are we just, like, mumbling away? Or the assailant attacked him from his blind spot while his back was turned. Why would his back be turned, though? Was he distracted by something? Kid! What? What was that all about? Sorry, sometimes I get just lost in my own thoughts. Yeah, well, cut it out. You're freaking me out. Right. Anyway, I think I found everything I can here. I should move somewhere else in big capitals. Oh, I can just go places. Well, I do have a teleportation circle, so I guess I can just go wherever the hell I want. Let's check upstairs.